Hey guys, how are you? Andy Suku, founder and CEO of Y2K Credit Solutions. Today's topic, we're going to talk about a video that was sent to me in regards to transferring debts to a trust. The video is actually long overdue. I've meant to do this video since last week, but I've been so busy doing other videos. I finally got a chance to do the remix or to break down this video what this individual is talking about and clarify some stuff, because as I'm reading the comments, a lot of you guys out there believe this stuff that this guy was talking about without doing any research. And if you did some research on how a trust work and what debt can go in a trust, you will see that what he was saying is completely 1,000% inaccurate. So I'm gonna do a video breaking it down. Now, I don't manage trust. Y2K does not handle trust. If you need to get a trust, you need to get an attorney that specializes in trust. But I do know enough about trust that what you can and what you cannot transfer into a trust. Also, if the two guys that was interviewing this individual just did a little bit of Google research, what can go into a trust, when he said that on the spot, you would have seen the textbook definition states that you cannot put credit card debts in a trust, right? Another thing you need to know about trust is that a trust is someone is being chosen to manage a trust. Anyone with common sense that's managing a trust will not allow someone to transfer credit card debts into a trust, right? There's some sort of, there's a level of integrity that you have when you're managing someone's trust. So for the video, I'll play the video for you guys so you can hear it, then I'll go into it. There's only one thing the guy said that was accurate, is that once you validate a debt and it comes off your credit report, you still owe the creditor. That's the only one thing he said in this video is valid. I did do a remix of the video. The video is on our Instagram page, but I'm actually gonna do my own breakdown of the video, breaking down information, what he's talking about. Another thing I want you guys to pay attention to the video. He's mumble jumbling all these terminologies in credit repair and putting it in the wrong portion of the explanation, and it doesn't work like that, like validations. We'll talk about that as well. I get into the video, but let me just play the video a little bit for you guys so you can hear it, and then I'll break it down for you. Today I have to bring out the big board, so pay attention to the video and then we'll get into it. And also, I am going to put the textbook definition of trust, who manages a trust, in the video. So even if you didn't want to research it, you can read it in the video, all right? And also, this video is going to be on our YouTube channel. It's going to be a little lengthy video. So let me play it and I'll show it to you guys.
You transfer the debt over to the trust. No other credit repair company out there does that. I learned that from my.
So explain, what's the benefit of doing that?
Let me just be transparent. When I fixed y'all credit and maybe I got some things off y'all credit, it came off y'all credit, but y'all still owe the institution that reported it on y'all credit. So if it was Capital One and Capital One went into collection, I got the Capital One off your credit, but you still owe Capital One. With debt deletion, it's the debt's transferred over to the trust. So Capital One erases the debt. So you can actually go back to Capital One and get a credit. So it's better than consolidation. It's better than bankruptcy. So I'm able to transfer the debt, no matter what the debt is, over to the trust, and it erases the debt. We actually go through the legal process.
And it doesn't show on your credit utilization,
It's
like all that
erased.
type of stuff too?
It's erased.
Okay. So what about the family trust though? Is it there?
No, because it's erased, because we go through what's called the validation process. And the validation process means that that creditor has to prove that that's your debt. And that by law, they cannot, because it's no longer your debt. So it's erased. So the trust no longer owns it. You no longer own it. It's erased.
This is the crazy stuff you guys were sending me overnight. All right, guys, that's the video that I'm talking about, and that's what I'm going to break down here, right? I was making a little more notes because there's a couple things I missed that I want to talk to you guys about. So, can you move a credit card debt or transfer debt to a trust? That's the million-dollar question, right? So let's talk about what he said first. Credit repair companies. Excuse my penmanship. Credit repair companies do not do this. He's absolutely right. Credit repair companies do not do this kind of practice, and he does not do this kind of practice either. Credit repair company is basically working on your behalf to write a letter to challenge the credit bureaus, to catch them on a technicality, to see if they can get something off your credit report. Anyone could write a letter on their behalf or on their own to dispute any information they feel is frivolous or erroneous on their credit report, as long as deemed to be a bank error, not a consumer error. You don't need a credit repair company to dispute anything on your credit report. You know, as the individual, as the owner of that account, if you made a payment late, if you went charge off, you went to collections, you know the status and the history of that account. So what he's saying that credit repair companies, no other credit repair doing this or does this process, and he's doing it, it's 1,000% inaccurate. Credit repair companies do not do this. They don't even, credit repair companies are using letters that they that they find online and just changing up the verbiage and sending it out on your behalf. That's why, if you ever notice, anytime a credit repair company sends a letter out, they're sending out with no letterhead, and it looks like the letter's coming from you. So why are you paying someone to do something that you can do? Save that money, and you could pay the debt or settle the debt, okay? When he fixed your credit, he made the statement, when he fixed your credit, and I'll tell you what he means by that, it comes off your credit report, but you still owe the debt. That's the only one thing he said that was factual in that statement. Let me explain that to you. So in the industry, there is the original creditor. Then they have 180 days for the original creditor to collect on a charge-off debt. Now, if it's not resolved, if you don't pay the debt before the 180 days, the original creditor will hire a third-party company to call you. So the original creditor is not wasting time and resource and money calling you after 180 days to pay this debt. They hire a third-party company. This is where the debt becomes eligible to settle. And if the third-party company can collect on it, great. If you, as the consumer or the credit repair company that you're hiring, writes a letter to validate the debt, which is called a validation letter, and in that letter you're asking for proof that you own the debt, payment history, whatever the situation is with the debt, right? Most of the time it's going to be charge-off accounts. And you're writing the letter to the third-party collection agency. Keep in mind, I've said this in other videos before, and this is on the FCRA law website. Third-party collection agencies do not own the debt. They do not own the debt. They're servicing the debt on behalf of the original creditor. For example, let's say T-Mobile, AT&T, Con Edison, cable bills, credit card bills, right? They're servicing the debt on behalf of the original creditors. They don't own the debt. So rightfully, you're right. If you write a letter to validate the debt and ask them to have permission to collect on this debt or to be on your credit report, the original creditor, the collection agency is going to come off your credit report, but you still owe the debt. Now what happens is that debt, let's say he used Capital One, right? So he used Cap One, third-party collection agency, validation. I'm abbreviating the whole thing for argument's sake, right? This is our whole scenario right here. You write the letter to the third party. It's not their debt. They're servicing the debt on behalf, SRV, servicing the debt on behalf of Capital One. The creditor is going to, the third-party collection agency is going to come off your credit report, and the debt's going to go back to Capital One. They're going to say they can't collect on it. Now, 30 days later, 30 to 60 days to be exact, the original creditor, Capital One, is going to send the debt back to another company. Let's say RCV Management, Receivable Management. That's what that means, right? Now the third party, the original creditor, is going to send the debt back to the original creditor. And the original creditor, in 30 to 60 days, you're going to send it back to another collection agency, which will report on your credit report again. So you still owe the debt, right? The debt cycles around. So all the amount of money and time you're wasting with these credit repair companies sending debts, you could have settled the debt already and paid a portion of it and call it a day. All right. So always, I said this before in multiple videos. You follow us on YouTube. I always say this all the time, and I'm very transparent. So let me be transparent about it. That's not believing you. It has to be resolved. Follow the industry now, the economy now. You'll see it's more so difficult to get a debt dismissed. You have a responsibility to the debt, and that's proven by the paper trail of the debt, how the debt was being paid. If you go back to our YouTube channel again, I reference this a lot, about maybe 12, 13 years ago. Those were the first videos I've put out there, how debt works, okay? So that's that. Validation process, again, as a consumer, you have the right to validate anything on your credit report. Validate is not no legal, he's saying it's a legal process. It's not, it's a letter you can Google online. You can buy these software like Credit Repair Cloud, and they come with pre-generated letters, and you can just tailor the letters. Again, everything has to be proven that it's the bank's fault, not your fault, right? And there's documents. Keep in mind, banks have so much documents on things. They have calls recorded, communication of mail. They have so many other ways to prove it's a debt. than the way you think it works and the letters that you send out. So the validation process is not no like magical, whatever you call it. I don't know what you want to call it. It's just something you could Google online, right? And you do have the right to validate anything on your credit report as you deem erroneous. Credit repair not doing this. Exactly. Credit repair companies do not do this. Credit repair companies don't even exist. If you notice, a lot of these guys hide behind a fake page. A lot of them don't have websites. A lot of them are working off of Quick Pay or Cash App, Zelle. They don't take credit cards. That's because they're not a real company. They're just doing this. This is a side hustle for them. And whoever they can bait in with their content or reposting on people's content, trying to make themselves look smart or intelligent about this industry, and they're roping people in, baiting people in just like that to get their business. So credit repair is just anybody has the right to do anything for themselves. All right. Transfer of debt to a trust. So he said you can transfer the debt to a trust. Listen, you cannot transfer credit card debts to a trust. To be exact, I believe the only debt you can transfer is asset, no liabilities. And I will put the textbook definition of what a trust and what you can transfer in a trust. And like I said again, if these two guys that were interviewing this person, instead of laughing like he was giving away some kind of gem, they would have seen that what he was saying on the spot was 1,000% inaccurate. You cannot transfer credit card debts to a trust. But also, I said earlier, any knowledgeable person that's managing a trust for someone would not even allow you to do something like that because they know the guidelines of what can go into a trust. Get new credit cards from creditors. Absolutely. Subprime banks will give you a new credit card even if you had a bad relationship with them. However, the debt has to be resolved. So even if it was charged off, you settled it, and you paid it, and it still shows on your credit report, Capital One, Credit One, First Premier, Bank of Missouri, all of these subprime banks will still give you another credit card, regardless of the relationship that you have with them in the past, as long as the debt has been resolved. Why? Because they make their money on interest. That's why the interest rates are so high. So they know statistically in 6 months, you will default again based off of your prior history with them. So they make their money on interest. For the first 5-6 months, they made their money on high interest on when you charge that card. All right. Validation, trust, we spoke about that. Legal verification, there's no such thing as that, guys. It's all, you can Google this stuff. So if you have any questions about this video, how a trust works, how collection works, third-party collection agencies, prime credit card, subprime credit card, whatever you may have, questions you may have about this video, drop a comment below. I'll try to answer it for you guys. But what this guy was saying was completely horseshit. It is not true. It does not work. And I see a lot of you guys in the comment, hook me up, put me in, plug me in. How does it work? How do I do this? Do you know it costs to open a trust? If you don't have money to pay a $500 debt, you have money to pay to open a trust and manage a trust. These things are not free. So you have to have common sense, and you also have to listen to these guys when they're talking. And listen, Google is right at your fingertips. I can Google anything I want. I just know about this stuff because I'm in the space. But for an average consumer that don't know about it, you can Google it. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.